Okay, evening everyone, this is the walkthrough for day 15, and today obviously we're trying to work on this little hook or mechanism. So what I'm going to do today is going to replicate sort of the centre construction and just sort of start working in an orderly fashion, sort of, you know, within the circles and plotting it around as per the set dimensions. So as I mentioned this morning, this point here, so centre point to centre point, is 178. Otherwise you have to do some maths and work out the triangulation between the 2 points. So into AutoCAD, okay, and what I've done is, from the last time you would have seen my template, I've actually included a centre line and I've included a hidden kind of layer. So if you don't know how to do that, it's fairly simple. New layer, so you can make a layer of test 1, and then I can come in, I can load any sort of line type that I want. So I might want like a border line or a dashed or a divide line or a dot, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to choose center 2. Actually I can change that to center 2 rather than so this is double scale. Okay, I can change that to my colour. Now if I wanted to save that now, all I have to do is come up to the save as bar, save it as my DWT, which is a template. Okay, override my file like so, so just put updated layers, close it down, reselect it from a template, and now when I come in, I've now got centre and centre times 2, so those are 2 ones I can kind of use. And that's how I made my hidden and my centre from last time. So choosing my centre line, okay, I'm going to draw a X line, 0, 0, once and then twice, and I'm just going to do an offset 178 from one to the other, and there's my set lines. Now on the drawing, okay, this is the important stages. Remember that there is an offset, so we have got an offset of 22. So what I'm now going to do is do an offset 22. I'm going to put in my second line. Now I'm not going to leave that as centre because it will start to cause a bit of carnage. I'm going to change that to a construction so I know what's going on. So that's the point where it's fairly straightforward. So I've got an R90 from the centre point, which is obviously, so diameter 90, R45, and then I've got an offset of R90 from the 22, and I've got an R23 and R45 from the second centre point. So come in, use the circle tool, can select my diameter, so this is going to be 45. Also you need to change that into my drawing, and then change my layer back to drawing like so. So that's giving me the R90, and if you're not unsure, you can either just do a quick diameter check like so, and obviously if you put that wherever you want it and change it to dims, then it just means you're not having to sort of double up every single time. So there's my 90. C for circle again on the second one, I'm going to do 45. Enter to reload the command, and then 23 like so. And my last one is on this next intersection, which again then is 90. If you don't want to do that and you think actually I've got that correct, you can just do right click properties and have a look at the radius and the diameter in the properties bar. So it's always a good sort of check to sort of do. So that's R23 in, R45 in, 90's in, R90's in. Okay, now I'm going to work in this little section up here. So this little section's got two radiuses of R45 and then an R6 on the end, and there's no set dimension from this point. So what I like to do is just to probably do this in construction rather than that, is draw a line which is then going to be 45. Okay, now I'm going to choose my vision line, which is essentially like my second construction layer for my second one. So I've got blue and I've got red. So red line, blue line. So what I can now do is choose center radius, run off my blue line, 45. Okay, then center radius for my red line. Now, if you ever get a bit confusing, I don't know which is it, what I'm going to do is send this line to the back, and my red line will come forward. It's actually sat right behind my yellow lit, so always a good tool to sort of use as the draw order as well. 45. Click on the pair of these two, change them back into my drawing. I always see people override the circles and delete them, and it's like, well, actually just reorder it. It makes your life a lot easier. Trim. Actually, I'm going to trim too much there, just reverse that one. So what I need to get rid of is those ones, that one, those points, and I need to get rid of those lines as well. Like so, and the one in the middle, accept that. Then to fill it, R6, like so, and then we have our first kind of little section. So the next part is then getting this, there's a tangent on the top, there's a tangent into a radius on the bottom, so it's like an R32. Now to work out tangents is quite hard if you haven't got the tangent snap on. So normally how a tangent works is you draw a line from a set point, okay, and you run it up to the next one, and when you hit the circle tangent you get that kind of a little icon there. It's like a circle with a flat bar on, like so. But if you look at that line there, that's from a set point. Now when I come back to the drawing, okay, you see actually it's not from this point, it's from the tangent on that radius as well. So I've got the tangent up here, but I haven't got the tangent down here. So what I normally do is I draw it from a point, and you can come down, click the back edge, move it from that tangent point, which you know you've already found, and find the next tangent point, like so. Now if we look, okay, obviously if I trim out that section and that section, okay, I've now got a nice flush line, one into the other, and that's exactly what that is. It comes round nice and flush into that top section there. So that's that bit, and obviously what I've got to do now is just recolour that one to my drawing. Now the bottom one's a little bit more difficult because we have a tangent on the R32, and essentially you have to line up a tangent point on the circle. So a couple of tools you've got your center radius, center diameter, 2 point and 3 point, tan radius, and tan. Now some people you could use a tan radius and work out the 2 points and put in the radius. However, what I'm going to show you a bit of a cheat is if you use the fillet R32, okay, choose one, choose the other, like so. Okay, so I'll put a radius between the actual two. So that will sort of give me that point. What I can then do is pull the tangent point on that section. So when I come back again, I've got that tangent. The line technically starts there, which is exactly where that is. Now when I come back into fillet again, choose one, choose two, it puts that fillet back in place. So now technically you could kind of argue that you don't really need that first section, because all I'm really technically doing is just drawing a line from one point to the other, but because you have that fillet in, I'll have to do it again now because I've just undone it, but fillet fill R32, but because you technically have that point, what you can do is you can latch onto something else which is roughly in the right radius and work back. Otherwise you're coming from a center point and then you're working out the tangent that way, and you see the tangent is slightly different. So that's why I tend to just work it a bit more across the board. like so. Let's trim that one out. Okay, change that one and that one to my drawing, like so. Now pretty much, if we compare the two, zoom out a little bit more, we've got two circles, straight line tangent, radius into tangent, radius and straight line into tangent. Okay, our R90, got our R90, 90 into R45, R45. So all that's really left to do, dimension it up. So the radius, again, put these wherever you want. Make sure it's nice and clear. And obviously what I didn't do, what I didn't transpose across, which sometimes people struggle with, is I didn't actually put that point to that point in. So I'm just going to do that one now. The other thing you might want to include is that on the drawing there's a hidden section, so there's a hidden circle. So put 45 in. I think that's quite on the centre line then, was I? Again, what I'm going to do is send that one to the back, and then it just it allows that dimension to line up and say it is sort of like a diameter. So what I'm going to do now, in my output, okay, like so, double click the space, zoom to hopefully get 1:1. Like so. I'm just going to turn off my construction lines, don't need them. Turn off my vision line, don't need that. Hidden I'm going to need, draw I need, get rid of center 2, and everything else is fine. And then what I can come do, I can just come and quickly just sort of change my points. So 15. 1:1 scale, everything's happy, and then again all I've got to do is straight into the plot. Because my plot settings are always set up to my template, output it, call it day 15 version 2. And then now we have, if I just rotate it around, our set dimensions. Obviously it now includes that dimension that we never had before, which will make your life a bit easier. So let me know how you got on. Hopefully that's all a-okay. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.